So my favorite PlayStation 2 game was a game called Ring of Red. Now, most people have never heard of this game, and that's cool, I get it. I don't even know how I stumbled upon it. But this game was a strategical RPG that uses different camera angles and different perspectives. I've been looking for a game like this for an incredibly long time. And I would say Front Mission First is basically close. It's the closest I've gotten to that. And I really like what they've done with this game. I've complained that there's not enough strategical RPGs released in a year. And this year's different. I gotta say, with Diofield, with Triangle Strategy, with games like that, and even some other re-releases or remakes, there's just been quite a few of them. And they've been pretty, well, great this year. And honestly, Front Mission First just adds to that prestige, which I think has become the year of the strategical RPG, which is awesome because that's my year. I love these style of games. They will take up most of your life to finish them, but they're still amazing. They always tell great stories, and the combat has something that has you doing a little bit different than just your classic turn-based RPG mechanics, which I do love as well, but there's just a little bit more strategy, hence the name, I suppose. Anyway, going into this one though, I really didn't know that much about Front Mission. It wasn't a game that I had played before, and honestly I don't know why. I guess maybe because I hadn't done enough research into it, and I had played another mech game, maybe it was Mech Warriors, and I combined the two and just, I don't know, I didn't look enough into it, I can just say that. And I really wish I had, because I now see that I was missing out on a lot. With a lot of RPGs, and specifically JRPGs, the storylines can sometimes be really hard to follow, and sometimes rather abstract, where it doesn't make a lot of sense to the gamer. Now with Front Mission First, completely different. And this game follows two different armies. The Oceania Cooperative Union, or what we will call them from now, the OCU, and the Unified Continental States, or the UCS. They love their U's and C's, which I gotta be honest is the only thing that can make this game sort of difficult to follow sometimes if you don't exactly know which side is which. I gotta be honest, like, I know most people probably have no problems with that, but I kinda did. Just at the very beginning, I was like, who's the UCS? What? Is this a college? What's going on? But anyway, the game pretty much is intended to follow Royd Clive, who I immediately changed his name because I just didn't want some dude named Royd. I don't know, it's weird. But the year is 2090, and they are in Hoffman Island, which is the only place that actually has a border with the OCU and the UCS. And this border becomes a hotbed for conflict. So both armies are typically going at it. There's different cities and different towns that are constantly under some sort of attack of some form, to the point where it just becomes commonplace where these two armies will fight each other. As I said before, this game is intended to follow Royd Clive, who is part of the UCO, but it does give you an option to take a different path. You can see the war from a different perspective, and that is also incredibly interesting, and I'll be honest, I haven't done it yet, but I do plan on doing that. But I like the idea of a game giving you two different perspectives. But anyway, with Royd, you basically start off with him on a mission, a little bit of reconnaissance. You know, they're looking into a munitions factory that the UCS has. And during this mission, you are completely ambushed with your fiancée, Karen, stuck in the middle of it. Now, she, being the reconnaissance leader, is the one who's the closest to the munitions factory. You're unable to get to her, and before the time runs out, she is, well, killed, unfortunately. Now, this sparks the entire game as you follow Royd, and he is given up on his path as a military man and actually just becomes like an arena fighter. Quickly into the game, he's recruited by a mercenary group known as the Crows, and they actually want him to lead the group. And you're then introduced to a bunch of new characters and given sort of an outlay of where to begin. And it's very interesting how this game plays out, and each mission leading into something that's a little bit more engaging than the prior. But it doesn't need any of that, to be honest, because the actual gameplay is phenomenal. Not to mention the fact that it is that, strategic RPG and grid-based combat that allows for long attacks, short-range attacks, or melee attacks. And the thing that I really like about this is you can take each individual mech or soldier and you can customize them however you want. Like, I have one character who's just completely bulked out. He's super powerful, super defense, but actually has no guns on him. He only has melee attacks, and he makes for like a really really good tank, as well as having someone who's more designed for speed and mobility. And of course, I like to keep Clive as the long-range kind of character. And namely because as soon as he dies, it's game over. Anyone else can kind of be destroyed and it's fine, but as soon as it's him, it's over. So yeah, I don't really like to try to put him in harm's way, as I also like to play this game on difficult settings. It just makes the game last longer. Now, I will say, one thing that is very annoying about the combat is, well, early on, there's a lot of misses. Like, there's just a ton of misses. Like, this really makes the battles, like, last so much longer than they need to because of all the misses. There'll be many times when you've attacked a guy, like, 2 or 3 times, and each attack was for naught. It just, I don't know, it prolongs a battle that doesn't need to be prolonged. That's my only real gripe with the game, to be honest. Like, graphically, the game looks amazing. But if you want to actually play the classic version, this game allows for that. Performance, it's amazing. I haven't had a single problem with it. We all know that's come from Square Enix. They do good by that, at least, usually. You know, dialogue, story, the ability to compel you, I guess, is what I would say. And it's definitely all there. Like, this game is incredibly engaging and keeps you coming back. There's not, again, a lot of things to really complain about with this game, as well as actual gameplay lasting well over 25 hours. And if that's not enough for you, you can always play the game from the other perspective and restart your entire journey just with a different look on it, which I, again, haven't done, but I really think like that's gonna really open the game up as well. So I'm pretty excited to check that out. This game so far has been well worth the cost. It's just why I put money into Square Enix. When they release games, they remake games, whatever they do, I pretty much buy them because I never have any true complaints about what they produce. Now, Harvestella, on the other hand, is one that I think as a game it was fine. It was just the idea wasn't. It missed a little bit. But honestly, when they release games, they're always top notch. They're always good quality. As long as you know what you're getting into. And with Front Mission First, this is a game that has withstood the most difficult enemy, and that being time. And ultimately, I hate being so one narrative driven in a review. Just basically either being totally positive or totally negative. But there's not a lot of negative to attack here. I mean, this has an incredibly compelling story that gets way deeper than what I went into. It happens pretty early, so I didn't want to divulge what's happening. It has an incredibly fun, addictive combat loop, which is only excelled by the fact that you can also customize your mechs on however you want, and the depth that creates as far as your strategy and the combat is considered is just phenomenal. Like, it makes this game stand out even more than a lot of strategy RPGs. Not to mention the graphics. The game looks really good. It's crisp. It's clear. It's what we wanted in a remake from a game of this era. They've done nothing but perfection, and I gotta be honest, at $34.99 American, that's a really good deal. If this would have been, $50 or $60, I might have had a few issues, honestly, just because when they start raising that price on a remake, it bugs me. It really does. But this, I think, is a great price. If you missed it, hey, you do have to pay a little bit of a penalty. If you just want to play it again, that $30 upgrade is probably worth it for you. Either way, I can't say anything besides the fact that I really recommend this game, and if you're into strategy RPGs, if you like those classic RPGs with some of the tropes of retro RPGs, this game has it all, honestly, and I can't say really anything bad about it. It really does score just top notch when it comes to graphics, story, gameplay, value, all of that. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Front Mission First. Let me know if you guys plan on picking it up, if you've played it before. What's your thoughts on all of this? Anything and everything, I want to hear from you down below in the comment section. And again, thank you guys for subscribing and liking and doing all that YouTube crap. It really means a lot to me. Anyway, guys, like always, I'm wishing you health, wealth, and above all, I hope you're truly happy because you make me happy. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.